She was 48 and hadn't felt anything in 5 years. Not since the morning she found Marcus cold beside her in bed. She moved through her days like a ghost, powerful at work, empty everywhere else. People stopped asking if she was okay. She'd become the answer. Professional, polished, perfectly dead inside. Then Jace Bennett walked into her boardroom. 33. Billionaire. The kind of man who looked through women like her. Too old, too tired, too done. But when he turned those cold gray eyes on her, something shifted. 5 minutes of him staring at her like she was a problem he wanted to solve, and her chest cracked open for the first time in half a decade. He shouldn't have noticed her. She shouldn't have felt this. But the numbness was breaking, and she didn't know if that was salvation or destruction. Welcome to our channel, where we bring you emotional stories that stay with you. If you're new here, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss a story. And if you're returning, thank you. Your support means everything. Now, stay until the end, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let's begin. The glass doors whispered shut. 19 executives fled like roaches when the lights came on. Raymond Cole, her CFO, Marcus's best friend, the only person who remembered when she used to smile, hesitated at the threshold. Tamara. I've got this, Ray. His jaw tightened. That's what I'm afraid of. Then they were alone. Tamara stood at the head of her table. Mahogany, custom-built, positioned so the Atlanta skyline framed her like a throne. She'd earned this view. Clawed her way from project manager to COO in 8 years. Built this company's operations division from chaos into precision. She was damn good at her job. And this man in his $1,000 suit thought he could walk in and take it apart. You have 60 seconds to tell me why I shouldn't have security escort you out. Her voice was ice. Professional. The tone that made junior executives stammer apologies. Jace Bennett didn't stammer. He moved to her end of the table. Slow. Deliberate. Each step measured like a chess move. He stopped close enough that she could smell him. Something expensive, cedar and bergamot, the kind of scent that probably cost more than her mortgage payment. Because my firm just acquired 51% of your company's voting shares, which makes me your new boss. He tilted his head. Technically. The room tilted. No. She would have heard. Would have known. The sale closed 20 minutes ago. Your board received notification while you were. He glanced at the cold coffee on the table, the scattered reports. Busy. Tamara's hands didn't shake. She'd trained them not to, back when Marcus died and the world expected her to fall apart. When her baby sister Keisha had gripped her shoulders at the funeral and whispered, "Don't you dare break. Not in front of these people." She hadn't. Not then. Not in the 5 years since. Not now. My board doesn't make decisions without me. Your board makes decisions based on survival. And right now, TechFlow Systems is hemorrhaging money. He picked up one of her reports. Flipped through it like he already knew every word. 3 failed product launches. Revenue down 18%. Your biggest client threatening to walk. Should I continue? You don't know anything about my company. I know everything about your company, Ms. Johnson. I've been studying TechFlow for 6 months. His eyes met hers. Gray. Cold. Calculating. I know you've been covering operational losses by shifting budget allocations. Creative accounting that looks brilliant until someone actually audits the numbers. Her spine went rigid. That's not. It's exactly what you've been doing. Because 3 years ago, your predecessor left you with a disaster. And you've been performing triage ever since. He set the report down. You're good. Better than good. But you can't save a sinking ship by rearranging the deck chairs. Tamara's pulse hammered in her throat. He wasn't supposed to know that. No one knew that except her and Raymond. The board thought she was a miracle worker. The staff thought she was invincible. This stranger saw through her in 60 seconds. What do you want? The words came out harder than she intended. To restructure. Cut the deadweight. Offshore the underperforming divisions. Standard procedure. Standard procedure. She laughed. Actually laughed, sharp and bitter. You mean fire 300 people right before the holidays? Destroy families? Gut a company that's been operating in the city for 15 years? I mean save the 700 people who'll lose their jobs when TechFlow declares bankruptcy in 8 months? He stepped closer. That's what you're looking at without intervention. Total collapse. We're not collapsing. You're drowning. And you're too proud to ask for help. The air between them crackled. Tamara was aware suddenly of how close he stood. How tall he was, 6'2", maybe 6'3". How his jaw tightened when he spoke, like he was holding something back. How young he looked. 33, according to the Forbes profile she'd read that morning in full panic mode. Built his first company at 25, sold it for $500 million at 28. Now he collected struggling companies like trophies and stripped them for parts. And he was standing in her boardroom in her space, looking at her like she was just another problem to solve. Get out of my office. It's not your office anymore. Then I'll make this very clear, Mr. Bennett. She moved around the table, closing the distance until they were inches apart. Close enough to see the flecks of blue in those cold gray eyes. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what the board agreed to. You want to restructure my company? You go through me. Every decision. Every firing. Every policy change. And I will fight you on every single one. Something flickered across his face. Surprise. Interest. Something else she couldn't name. You think you can stop me? I think you've never met someone who wasn't impressed by your net worth. His mouth curved. Not quite a smile. And you're not impressed. I've met plenty of rich men, Mr. Bennett. Most of them thought money made them right. It doesn't. What does make someone right, Ms. Johnson? Being willing to look at the people behind the profit margins. Something I doubt you've ever done. The temperature in the room shifted. His eyes darkened. For a heartbeat, she thought he might actually be angry. Then his voice dropped, quiet and dangerous. You don't know anything about me. I know your type. Do you? It wasn't a question. Tamara's breath caught. The space between them felt charged electric. She was suddenly aware of everything. The sound of her own heartbeat, the way his chest rose and fell, the heat radiating off his body despite the ice in his eyes. This was a mistake. Getting this close. Letting him see that he'd rattled her. She stepped back. This meeting is over. My assistant will set up a formal introduction for Monday. 9 a.m. Don't be late. I'm never late, Ms. Johnson. Then we'll get along fine. As long as you remember whose company this really is. She turned toward the door. Made it 3 steps. Your husband. Tamara froze. Marcus Johnson. He died 5 years ago. Heart attack. You found him at home. Jace's voice was clinical. Factual. Brutal. You haven't taken a vacation since. Haven't dated. According to your assistant, you work 16-hour days. You're the first one in the building, last one out. She turned slowly. You investigated me. I investigate everyone I do business with. My personal life is none of your business. Your personal life is affecting your professional judgment. He moved closer again, and she hated that her body tensed, that she noticed the way his shoulders filled out that suit. You're running yourself into the ground. Working yourself numb. And when I cut through the operational fat, you'll fight me because you think loyalty means going down with the ship. You don't know what I think. Don't I? His eyes searched hers. You're terrified. Not of me. Not of losing your job. You're terrified of feeling something. Because if you stop moving, stop working, stop fighting, you'll have to face the fact that you've been surviving instead of living. The words hit like a fist to her chest. Tamara's vision tunneled. Blood roared in her ears. Who the hell did this man think he was? Walking into her company, her life. Dissecting her like she was just another spreadsheet to analyze? Get out. Ms. Johnson. Get out of my building before I have security throw you out. He studied her. 5 seconds. 10. Then he reached into his jacket, pulled out a business card, set it on the table. Monday, 9 a.m. We'll discuss the restructure. He walked to the door. Stopped. Looked back. For what it's worth. I meant what I said. You're good at your job. Better than good. That's why I'm not replacing you. The door closed behind him. Tamara stood in the empty boardroom, staring at the skyline she'd fought so hard to claim. Her hands were steady. Her breathing was controlled. Inside, something was cracking. She grabbed her phone. Hit speed dial. Ray. Emergency meeting. My office. Now. Raymond Cole arrived in 90 seconds, which meant he'd been hovering, waiting for the explosion. He shut her office door, real walls, not glass, the only privacy in the whole damn building, and crossed his arms. Tell me you didn't threaten him. I should have done more than threaten. Tamara paced behind her desk. Couldn't sit. Couldn't be still. Energy hummed under her skin like electricity. He can't just walk in here and what? Buy the company. He already did. The board voted yesterday. She spun. Yesterday. And no one told me. They knew you'd fight it. Damn right I'd fight it. This is my company, Ray. It's not your company. His voice gentled. Tamara. Baby girl. I love you. You know I do. But you've been holding this place together with duct tape and denial for 3 years. Bennett's firm might be the only thing that saves us. By firing half our staff? By keeping the other half employed? Raymond moved closer. Dropped his voice. Marcus would want you to be realistic. Marcus's name landed like a punch. Tamara's jaw clenched. Don't. Someone has to say it. You've been martyring yourself since he died. Working yourself to death like if you just stay busy enough, you won't have to feel. I said don't. The words came out sharp. Cold. The voice she used to end arguments. Raymond held up his hands. Backed off. Monday's meeting. I'll be there. We'll handle this together. I don't need help handling some arrogant. Yes, you do. Because right now, you're about 2 seconds from doing something that'll get you fired. He headed for the door. Paused. Keisha called me yesterday. Said you haven't returned her calls in a week. Guilt twisted in Tamara's stomach. I've been busy. You're always busy. That's the problem. He left. The office felt too quiet. Too empty. Tamara sank into her chair. Leather, ergonomic, purchased after her 3rd promotion because she'd earned it, and stared at her computer screen. 17 unread emails. Budget reports due Friday. Performance reviews next week. A company to save and a billionaire to fight, and absolutely no idea how to do both without losing her mind. Her phone buzzed. Text from Keisha. Sunday dinner. 6 p.m. Don't even think about canceling. Tamara closed her eyes. Sunday dinner meant her sister's house in Decatur. Meant Keisha's husband grilling in the backyard while their kids ran circles through the kitchen. Meant her mother showing up with sweet potato pie and questions about why Tamara was working too much, eating too little, still wearing her wedding ring. She should cancel. Should work through the weekend, prepare for Monday's battle. Her fingers typed, I'll be there. Because Keisha would drive to her house and physically drag her out if she didn't show. And because somewhere under the ice, under the armor, under 5 years of numbness, Tamara was so desperately tired of being alone. Saturday night, Tamara's penthouse apartment overlooked the city. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Modern furniture. Everything in shades of gray and white because Marcus had loved color and she couldn't bear to see it anymore. She stood at the window with a glass of wine she wouldn't drink, watching lights blink across the skyline. Somewhere out there, 300 people worked for her company, trusted her to protect their jobs, their families, their futures. And somewhere out there, Jace Bennett was probably in some expensive hotel room, calculating exactly how to dismantle everything she'd built. Her phone sat on the counter. Silent. She should be working. Should be building her defense for Monday's meeting. Instead, she found herself Googling his name. Jace Bennett. The corporate raider with a conscience? TechCrunch. How Jace Bennett built a billion-dollar portfolio before 35. Forbes. The youngest self-made billionaire explains his ruthless strategy. She clicked the Forbes article. His photo loaded. Professional headshot. Gray suit, that same cold stare. The interview was brutal. Honest. He talked about growing up poor, working construction jobs to pay for community college, building his first company in a garage. People call me heartless, he'd told the interviewer. But I'm not heartless. I'm realistic. Sometimes you have to cut off a limb to save the body. Tamara's wine glass was empty. She didn't remember drinking it. She clicked another article. This one had a photo from a charity gala, Jace in a tuxedo, some blonde socialite on his arm, both of them looking bored. The caption read, Bennett and rumored girlfriend Cassandra Whitmore at the Metropolitan Museum Gala. Rumored girlfriend. Right. Men like him probably had a rotation. Not that it mattered. Not that she cared. Except she was still staring at the photo, noticing the way the tuxedo fit his shoulders, the way his jaw tightened even when he smiled, the way his eyes looked empty despite the camera flash. He'd looked at her differently. In her boardroom, when he'd stepped close and told her she was drowning. His eyes hadn't been empty then. Tamara slammed her laptop shut, poured another glass of wine. This was insane. She was not thinking about Jace Bennett's eyes or shoulders or the way he'd smelled like expensive decisions. She was thinking about how to destroy him on Monday. Sunday dinner was chaos. Keisha's house smelled like fried chicken and cornbread and the butter beans her mother had been making since they were kids. Gospel music played from the kitchen speaker, Kirk Franklin, because Keisha said Sunday wasn't Sunday without the right soundtrack. Tamara stood in the doorway, feeling out of place in her own sister's home. There she is. Keisha swept across the kitchen, wooden spoon in hand, apron covered in flour. I was starting to think you'd bail. I said I'd come. You say a lot of things. Keisha pulled her into a hug. Smelled like vanilla and love. You look tired. I'm fine. That's what you said last month. And the month before. Keisha studied her face. What's going on? Work. It's always work. Her mother's voice came from the stove. Diane Johnson, 68, sharp as a knife, still wore her church hat even though service ended hours ago. Baby, you can't live at that office. I don't live there, Mama. Could have fooled me. When's the last time you came to Sunday dinner without your laptop? Tamara's bag suddenly felt heavy. Guilty. Keisha laughed. She's got you there. She stirred something that smelled like heaven. Go sit down. Food's almost ready. And leave that bag in the car on your way out. I have work. That can wait until Monday. Her mother pointed the spatula like a weapon. Sit. Eat. Be present. Just this once. Tamara sat. The table was loud. Keisha's husband, David, told stories about his students. He taught high school history, loved every minute of it. Their kids, 10 and 12, argued about some video game until Keisha shut it down with one look. Her mother asked about church, about Tamara's neighbors, about everything except work. It felt normal, almost peaceful. Then Keisha asked, So what's his name? Tamara choked on her sweet tea. What? The man who's got you wound tighter than usual. Keisha's eyes sparkled. And don't say there's no man. I know that look. There's no look. Girl, please. I've known you 30 years. You've got the same face you had when Marcus first asked you out. I'm annoyed but also intrigued. David wisely grabbed the kids. Who wants ice cream in the other room? They fled. Diane leaned forward. A man. At your work. There's no man. There's a problem. That happens to be male. Tamara set down her fork. His company bought ours. He wants to restructure. Fire people. Destroy everything I've built. And, Keisha prompted. And nothing. I'm going to stop him. Is he cute? Keisha. What? You can't blame me for asking. You haven't looked at a man in 5 years. I'm not looking at him. I'm tolerating him. Barely. Her mother's hand covered hers. Warm. Gentle. Baby. Marcus has been gone a long time. Tamara pulled away. I know how long it's been. I don't think you do. Because you're still wearing that ring. Still living in that empty apartment. Still working yourself to death so you don't have to come home to silence. The words hit too close. Tamara stood. I should go. Sit down. Not a request. Her mother's preacher voice, the one that didn't tolerate argument. I loved Marcus like my own son. You know that. But he wouldn't want this. Wouldn't want you half alive, going through the motions. I'm fine. You're surviving. That's not the same as living. Diane squeezed her hand. And if some man is making you feel something, even if it's just anger, that's a start. Keisha grinned. So he is cute. He's arrogant. Cold. Completely infuriating. Sounds promising. You're impossible. I'm right. Keisha's smile softened. Tam. I miss my sister. The one who used to laugh. The one who'd stay up all night talking about dreams and plans and stupid things. I want her back. Tamara's throat tightened. I don't know if she exists anymore. She does. She's just scared. Her mother stood, kissed her forehead. But you've never let fear stop you before. Don't start now. Monday morning. 9 a.m. Tamara arrived at 7:30. She'd worn her armor, navy suit, silk blouse, heels that added 3 inches and confidence. Hair pulled back, makeup perfect, not a single crack in the facade. Raymond met her outside the conference room. He's already inside. It's 7:45. Apparently he's an early riser too. Of course he was. Tamara pushed open the door. Jace Bennett sat at her table, laptop open, coffee in hand. He ditched the jacket, rolled up his sleeves. She could see the muscles in his forearms, the way his shoulders moved when he typed. She hated that she noticed. Ms. Johnson. Mr. Cole. He didn't look up. You're early. This is my company. I'm never late. Neither am I. Which means we have 90 minutes before the others arrive. Now he looked up. Those gray eyes locked on hers. Good. We need to talk. Raymond glanced between them. Should I stay? Tamara sat across from Jace. Whatever he has to say, you'll hear anyway. Jace closed his laptop, leaned back, studied her like she was a puzzle he was solving. You spent the weekend building a defense strategy. Probably compiled every regulation, every employment law, every contractual loophole that could slow down the restructure. He wasn't wrong. She'd worked until 2 a.m. building her case. You also called 3 board members. Tried to build a coalition against me. He pulled out his phone. Showed her the screen. Text messages, call logs. 2 of them informed me immediately. The 3rd is still deciding which side offers better odds. Tamara's stomach dropped. Betrayal tasted like copper. Here's what you don't know, Jace continued. I don't want to fire 300 people. I want to save 700. But I can't do that if you fight me on every decision out of principle. Principle. You call protecting people's livelihoods principle. I call it emotion overriding logic. You're so determined to be the hero that you can't see you're driving this company into the ground. She stood. Get out. Sit. Down. His voice didn't rise. Didn't need to. The command in it was absolute. And damn her, she sat. I had my team run full forensics on TechFlow's financials over the weekend. He pulled out a folder. Slid it across the table. Your product division is hemorrhaging $2 million a month. Your operational costs are 30% higher than industry standard. And your biggest client, Morrison Tech, is planning to terminate their contract in 6 weeks. Raymond swore. Morrison's our anchor. Was your anchor. They're moving to a competitor unless TechFlow can prove viability. Jace's eyes never left Tamara's. Which means you have 6 weeks to turn this around. And you can't do it alone. I've been doing it alone for 5 years. And it's killing you. The room went silent. Tamara's hands clenched under the table. What do you want from me? Partnership. Real partnership. Not you fighting me every step while this company collapses. He leaned forward. I'm not the enemy, Ms. Johnson. I'm the only chance you've got. Why should I trust you? Because if I wanted to destroy TechFlow, I would have started Friday. He pulled out another folder. This is my restructure plan. Read it. If you can find a better solution, I'll listen. She grabbed the folder, flipped it open. The first page made her breath catch. TechFlow restructure. Operational optimization with 0 layoffs. She looked up. 0. I told you. I'm not heartless. I'm realistic. His jaw tightened. There's another way. But it requires you to trust me. And I don't think you trust anyone. Can you blame me? You walked in here, bought my company, investigated my personal life. Because I needed to understand who I was working with. And what I found was someone brilliant, stubborn, and so terrified of failing that she'd rather burn out than ask for help. He stood, walked around the table, stopped beside her chair, close enough that she could smell cedar and ambition. I see you, Tamara Johnson. And I think you see me too. Which is why you're so angry. Her pulse hammered. You don't know anything about me. I know you haven't been seen in 5 years. Really seen. Everyone treats you like the Iron Woman who doesn't need anything. His voice dropped. But I see someone drowning. And I'm offering you a lifeline. She stood. They were inches apart. The air between them crackled. Why do you care? Because, he stopped. Something flickered across his face. Vulnerability. Quickly shuddered. Because wasting potential pisses me off. And you're wasting yours. Tamara's phone buzzed. Both of them ignored it. If I agree to this partnership, she said slowly, we're equals. Every decision. Every change. You don't override me. Agreed. If you stop fighting me on principle and start fighting for solutions. And if we disagree, then we argue until one of us is right. His mouth curved. Almost a smile. Should be interesting. You're insufferable. You're impossible. Good. We understand each other. She extended her hand. Professional. Businesslike. He took it. His palm was warm. Calloused, which surprised her. Billionaires weren't supposed to have calluses. The handshake lasted 3 seconds too long. They both let go at the same time. Monday morning meeting, she said. 9 a.m. You present your plan. I'll present my concerns. We'll find middle ground. I look forward to it, Ms. Johnson. Tamara. If we're partners, use my name. Tamara. The way he said it, low, deliberate, made her skin warm. I'm Jace. I know who you are. Do you? Those gray eyes searched hers. I don't think you do. Not yet. Then he grabbed his jacket and walked out, leaving her standing in her own conference room, heart racing, wondering what the hell just happened. Raymond whistled low. That man is dangerous. He's arrogant. He's both. And you're in trouble. Don't be ridiculous. Tam. I watched you too. The energy in this room could have powered the building. He squeezed her shoulder. Just be careful. Please. There's nothing to be careful about. This is business. But her hands were shaking. And for the first time in 5 years, Tamara Johnson felt alive. Quick pause. If you're feeling this story, hit the hype so others can find it. Comment where you're watching from. Now back to the story. Over the next few weeks, Tamara learned 3 things about Jace Bennett. 1. He wasn't lying about the 0 layoffs. His restructure plan was brilliant. Consolidating redundant departments, renegotiating vendor contracts, implementing efficiency software that cut costs without cutting people. She hated how good it was. 2. He worked harder than anyone she'd ever met, including herself. He was in the building by 6 a.m., still there at midnight, reviewing every detail, questioning every assumption. When she thought she'd found a flaw in his logic, he'd already anticipated it and had 3 solutions ready. 3. He was getting under her skin. It started small. The coffee that appeared on her desk every morning. Dark roast, no sugar, exactly how she took it. The way he'd knock on her door at 7 p.m. and say, "You need to eat," then drag her to the Thai place downstairs that stayed open late. The casual touches, hand on her lower back when they walked into meetings, fingers brushing when they reached for the same document. Professional. Friendly. Absolutely nothing more. Except her body didn't believe that. "You're staring again," Raymond said, 3 weeks into the partnership. They were in the break room. Jace was visible through the glass wall, standing at a conference table, explaining something to the product team. He'd ditched his jacket again, rolled his sleeves to his elbows. When he gestured, the muscles in his forearms flexed. Tamara looked away. "I'm not staring. I'm observing." "Right. And I'm 25. Raymond poured coffee. "How's the partnership going?" "Fine. Good. We're making progress." "You're making something." He grinned. "That man looks at you like you're the only person in the room." "He looks at everyone like that. It's called focus." "No, honey. What he does with you is something else entirely." Before she could argue, her phone buzzed. Text from Jace. "My office. 10 minutes. Bring the Morrison file." Morrison Tech. Their anchor client. The contract they'd been fighting to save. She found him pacing his temporary office, smaller than hers, which she knew annoyed him. He'd pushed the furniture aside, turned one wall into a massive whiteboard covered in notes and diagrams. Morrison's CEO agreed to meet, he said without preamble. "Thursday. Atlanta office." "That's good. What do they want to hear?" "Everything we've been working on. Proof that TechFlow is stable. That we can deliver." He stopped pacing. Looked at her. "I need you there. Obviously. I'm CEO. I need you there because Richard Morrison trusts you. Has for years. If he sees we're aligned, he'll stay." Tamara set down her bag. "And if he sees we're still fighting? Then we lose the contract. And 200 jobs go with it." The weight of it settled between them. 200 families. 200 people who trusted her to protect them. "What do you need from me?" she asked. "Honesty. If you think the plan won't work, say so now. Not in front of Morrison." She studied the whiteboard. The operational efficiency model. The projected revenue. The timeline for implementation. It was good. Better than good. It might actually work. "I think," she said slowly, "that you might be smarter than I want to admit." His mouth curved. "That hurt to say, didn't it? You have no idea. Try trusting me, Tamara. Just this once." There it was again. Her name in his voice. Low and rough, like gravel over silk. She met his eyes. "I'm trying." "I know." He moved closer. Close enough that she had to tilt her head back to hold his gaze. "You're terrified I'm going to screw this up. Betray you. Prove that everyone who gets close eventually leaves." Her breath caught. "You don't know that. I know what it's like to lose someone. To build walls so high that nothing can get in. Not even the good things." His hand lifted, almost touched her face, then dropped. "But those walls don't protect you, Tamara. They just make you lonely." The office felt too small. Too warm. She could see the pulse at his throat, the way his pupils dilated when he looked at her. This was a bad idea. A terrible idea. She stepped back. "I should go. Prepare for the Morrison meeting." "Tamara." "Thursday. I'll be ready." She left before he could say anything else. Before she did something monumentally stupid. Like admit he was right. Thursday arrived with Atlanta rain. The kind that turned the city gray and made traffic a nightmare. Tamara dressed for battle. Black suit, silk shell, Her favorite heels, the red ones that made her feel invincible. Hair down for once, natural curls framing her face because Keisha had said, "Stop hiding behind that tight bun. Let them see you." Jace met her in the lobby at 8 a.m. Stopped walking when he saw her. "What?" she asked. "Nothing. You look professional." That's what I was going for. Right. Professional. But his eyes said something else entirely. They took his car, a black Tesla that drove itself while he reviewed notes. Tamara watched rain streak the windows, trying not to notice how his cologne filled the small space. How his thigh was inches from hers on the leather seat. "Nervous?" he asked. "Should I be?" Morrison's a hard sell. He's been with TechFlow since the beginning. Loyal. But loyalty doesn't trump business sense. "I know Richard. He'll listen. He'll listen to you." Jace's hand found hers on the seat between them. Squeezed once. "I've got your back. You know that, right?" The touch sent electricity up her arm. She should pull away. Should maintain professional distance. She didn't. "I know." Morrison Tech's headquarters was glass and steel, overlooking downtown Atlanta. Richard Morrison was 60, silver-haired, the kind of man who remembered everyone's name and asked about their families. He greeted Tamara with a hug. "It's been too long." "I know. I'm sorry. I heard about the acquisition. Bennett Ventures, right?" His eyes flicked to Jace. "Cool. Assessing. This the corporate raider everyone's been talking about?" Jace extended his hand. "Jace Bennett. And I prefer corporate strategist." "I'm sure you do." Richard shook his hand. Firm. Brief. "Let's talk in my office." The meeting was brutal. Richard didn't pull punches. TechFlow's performance had been declining for 2 years. Their last product launch failed spectacularly. He had shareholders breathing down his neck, demanding he cut ties with struggling partners. "Give me one reason to stay," Richard said, looking at Tamara. "One reason to believe TechFlow can turn this around." Tamara opened her mouth. Jace spoke first. "Because she can." He pulled out his tablet, swiped to a presentation. "Tamara Johnson is the most talented operational executive I've worked with in 15 years. She's kept TechFlow afloat through circumstances that would have sunk most companies. And now, with proper resources and strategic support, she's going to turn it into an industry leader." Richard raised an eyebrow. "That's quite a claim." "It's a fact. Look at these numbers." Jace walked him through the restructure. Efficiency gains, cost reductions, projected revenue growth. TechFlow isn't dying. It's evolving. And Tamara's the one making it happen. Tamara sat frozen. He was praising her. Publicly. Giving her credit when he could have taken it himself. Richard studied the numbers. Then looked at Tamara. "This is your plan." "It's our plan," she said quietly. "Partnership." "Partnership." Richard's expression softened. Marcus would have liked that. He always said you were the smartest person in any room. Her throat tightened. He was biased. He was right. Richard stood. Extended his hand. "Okay. You've got 6 months to prove this works. But I'm holding you personally accountable, Tamara. Both of you." They shook. Relief flooded through her so fast she felt dizzy. Outside, in the rain-soaked parking garage, Tamara leaned against Jace's car and laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised out of her. "We did it. You did it." Jace stood close, water dripping from his hair. "I just backed you up. You gave me credit. You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. Because it's the truth." His eyes searched hers. "You don't see it, do you? How brilliant you are. How everyone in that room looks at you with respect. With awe. Jace. I see you, Tamara. I've seen you from the beginning. And I." He stopped. Rain fell between them. "We should go. Celebrate. There's a restaurant downtown." "I can't." "Why not?" Because this was dangerous. Because her heart was pounding and her hands were shaking and she wanted things she had no right wanting. Because this is business. And we need to keep it that way. Something flashed across his face. Hurt. Frustration. Right. Business. He unlocked the car. They drove back in silence. But when he dropped her off, his hand caught hers. Tamara, when you're ready to stop hiding, I'll be here. She watched him drive away and realized she was in serious trouble. That night, Keisha called. Spill. Tamara was in her apartment, staring at her laptop without seeing it. What? Whatever has you wound up tighter than church shoes? Spill. Now. It's nothing. Try again. Tamara closed her eyes. There's a man. Keisha squealed. Actually squealed. I knew it. The billionaire. He's complicated. Complicated how? He's smart. And infuriating. And he looks at me like I'm... She stopped. Like I'm not invisible. Oh, honey. You've never been invisible. You just convinced yourself you were. I'm too old for this, Keish. He's 33. I'm 48. So what? Moses was 80 when God called him. Age is just a number. This isn't church, Keisha. Everything's church if you look hard enough. Her sister's voice softened. You deserve to be happy. To feel something. Marcus would want that. How do you know? Because he loved you. And love doesn't want the person left behind to stop living. Tamara's eyes burned. She hadn't cried in 5 years. Wouldn't start now. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. Then figure it out. One step at a time. That's all any of us can do. The breakthrough came at 2 a.m. on a random Tuesday. Tamara was still at the office. So was Jace. They'd been working on the Morrison implementation plan for hours, fueled by coffee and stubbornness. This section needs revision, she said, marking up his draft. The timeline's too aggressive. It's achievable if everyone commits. It's achievable if everyone has superpowers. Real people need sleep. Do they? He looked at her over his laptop. You haven't slept in weeks. I sleep. When? Between the 3 a.m. emails and the 5 a.m. reports. I manage. You survive. There's a difference. He closed his laptop. When's the last time you did something just because you wanted to? Not because it helped the company or looked good on paper. Just because. Tamara set down her pen. I don't have time for that. Exactly my point. He stood, walked to her side of the table. You're existing, not living. And before you tell me to mind my own business. He held up a hand. I'm saying this because I do the same thing. Work until I'm numb. Use success as armor. Pretend if I'm busy enough I won't notice I'm alone. Her breath caught. Jace. I bought your company for a reason. His voice was low. Careful. My father. He was your husband's business partner. 20 years ago. The room tilted. What? James Bennett. He co-founded TechFlow with Marcus Johnson. Then Marcus forced him out. Took full control. My father lost everything. His company, his savings, his reputation. He died 5 years ago, bitter and broken. Jace's jaw tightened. I came here for revenge. To destroy what Marcus built. To make his widow pay for what he did to my family. Tamara stood. The world was spinning. You used me. I planned to. That was the original strategy. Buy the company. Tear it apart. Watch it burn. His eyes met hers. Raw. Honest. But then I met you. And you weren't what I expected. You weren't some privileged widow riding on her husband's success. You were brilliant. Broken. Fighting so hard to save everyone that you forgot to save yourself. So this was all what? A game. No. God, no. It stopped being a game the moment I saw you. He moved closer. I was supposed to hate you. But I don't. I can't. Because you're. I'm what? Your redemption arc? Your chance to prove you're not heartless. You're the first person in years who makes me want to be better. His hand cupped her face. I see you, Tamara. Really see you. Not the COO. Not the widow. Just you. The woman who fights for her people. Who carries the weight of the world and pretends it doesn't hurt. Who forgot how to smile but still tries so damn hard. Tears burned behind her eyes. I trusted you. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. His thumb brushed her cheek. I was wrong. My father was wrong. Whatever happened between him and Marcus, that's their story. Not ours. And I don't want revenge anymore. I want. What do you want? You. I want you. The confession hung between them. Dangerous. Impossible. Tamara should walk away. Should fire him. Should protect herself. Instead, she kissed him. Desperate. Furious. Hungry. 5 years of numbness breaking apart in one moment. His hands tangled in her hair. Her fingers gripped his shirt. The kiss was bruising, consuming, everything she'd been denying since the moment he walked into her boardroom. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, reality crashed back. This is a mistake, she whispered. Probably. You lied to me. I did. I should hate you. You should. His forehead pressed against hers. But do you? I don't know what I feel. I haven't felt anything in so long. Her voice broke. You scare me. Good. You scare me too. He pulled back, just enough to see her face. I'm not asking for forever. I'm not asking for promises. I'm just asking for a chance. To prove I'm not here to hurt you. To prove that what we have is real. What do we have? I don't know yet. But I want to find out. Tamara closed her eyes. Every logical part of her screamed to run. But the part that had been dead for 5 years, the part that wanted, that hoped, that dared to feel, whispered something different. The board can't know. Company policy forbids. I don't care about company policy. Well, I do. If this gets out before the merger stabilizes, we both lose everything. She stepped back, putting distance between them. If we do this, and I'm not saying we are, it stays private. Completely private. Agreed. And if it interferes with work. It won't. You don't know that. Then we'll figure it out. Together. He caught her hand. One chance, Tamara. That's all I'm asking. She should say no. Should protect herself. Should remember that everyone she's ever loved has left. One chance, she heard herself say. Don't make me regret it. I won't. He was lying. They both knew it. But she kissed him anyway. Secret relationships were harder than Tamara expected. At work they were professionals. Partners. Arguing over budget allocations, debating strategy, presenting a united front to the board. No one suspected the electricity between them was anything more than creative tension. But after hours, Jace's penthouse became their sanctuary. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture that she teased him about. Did you let a robot decorate? And a kitchen he actually knew how to use. You cook? She'd asked the first night, watching him dice vegetables with unexpected competence. Surprising, I know. Billionaires are supposed to live on takeout and champagne. He'd grinned. I worked construction through college. Learned to cook because I couldn't afford to eat out. She'd kissed him then. Slow and deep. Tasting possibility. The sex was intense. Urgent. Years of loneliness and hunger channeled into every touch. He was demanding, attentive, rough when she needed it and gentle when she broke. And she did break. Walls crumbling, armor shattering, crying in his arms after the 3rd time because she'd forgotten what it felt like to be held. I've got you, he'd whispered. I've got you. For the first time in 5 years she believed it. But secrets had a way of surfacing. 6 weeks into whatever they were, relationship felt too big, affair felt too small. Tamara arrived at Jace's place to find him on the balcony, scotch in hand, staring at the city. Bad day. She slid her arms around his waist from behind. My father's birthday. She stilled. James Bennett. The partner Marcus had forced out. Want to talk about it? Not particularly. He drained his glass. He died bitter. Hating Marcus. Hating TechFlow. Hating himself for trusting someone who turned out to be a liar. Tamara's stomach twisted. What did Marcus do? Stole a patent. My father developed the core tech that made TechFlow successful. Marcus filed the patent under his own name, then forced my father out of the company. Took everything. That's not. But she stopped. Because she didn't know. Marcus had been her husband, her partner, her love. But he'd been human. Flawed. Capable of mistakes. Capable of cruelty. My father spent 20 years trying to clear his name, Jace continued. Died before he could. And I promised him, at his funeral, standing at his grave, that I'd destroy Marcus Johnson's legacy. Make him pay. And now I'm in love with his widow. He turned to face her. Which makes me either a traitor or an idiot. Possibly both. The words hit like a fist. You love me. God help me, yes. His hands framed her face. I didn't mean to. Didn't want to. But you're everything. Brilliant and broken and so damn beautiful it hurts to look at you sometimes. Tamara's heart hammered. Jace. You don't have to say it back. I know this is complicated. I know I'm asking you to choose between your past and your future. I just needed you to know. She kissed him instead of answering. Poured everything she couldn't say into that kiss. Fear and hope and the terrifying realization that she was falling too. When they finally made it to his bedroom, the sex was different. Slower. Deeper. Every touch deliberate, every kiss a confession. He worshipped her body like prayer, traced the silver stretch marks on her stomach, kissed the scar on her knee from a childhood accident, told her she was beautiful until she believed it. After, lying tangled in his sheets, she whispered, I need to know the truth. About Marcus and your father. You won't like what you find. I still need to know. He pulled her closer. Okay. We'll find out together. The truth came from an unexpected source. Raymond. Tamara cornered him in his office the next day. Closed the door. I need you to tell me about Jace Bennett. Raymond's face went carefully blank. Why? Because Jace is his son. And he says Marcus stole a patent. Forced Jace out of the company. Tamara. I need the truth, Ray. Not the version you think I can handle. The real truth. He sighed. Pulled out a locked drawer. Handed her a file folder. Marcus made me promise never to show you this. Inside were documents. Legal filings. Patent applications. Email exchanges. The story unfolded in black and white. Jace Bennett had indeed developed the core technology. But Marcus had funded it, provided resources, taken all the financial risk. When Jace wanted to sell the patent to a competitor, Marcus had blocked him. They'd fought. Ended in arbitration. Marcus had won. Legally. Technically. But morally. That was murkier. Marcus wasn't perfect, Raymond said quietly. He did what he thought was right for the company. For you. For your future. But yeah, he hurt Jace. Badly. Tamara's hand shook. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because you were grieving. Because Marcus was dead, and dragging his name through mud wouldn't change anything. He took the file back. Does Jace know you're digging into this? He's the one who told me to. Raymond's eyebrows rose. You two are complicated. Sleeping together. She didn't deny it. Jesus, Tam. The man came here for revenge. I know. But he's not that person anymore. She met his eyes. I think I'm in love with him, Ray. You think or you know. I don't know. I haven't felt anything in so long, I can't tell the difference between love and just feeling alive again. Then figure it out. Because if this goes sideways, you lose more than your heart. You lose your company. Your reputation. Everything you've built. He was right. She knew he was right. But when Jace texted an hour later, dinner tonight, My place. I'll cook. She texted back. See you at 7. That night, over pasta he'd made from scratch, Tamara showed him copies of the documents. Jace read in silence, face carefully neutral. When he finished, he set down the papers and stared at his wine glass. Your father wasn't entirely wrong, she said carefully. But neither was Marcus. They both believed they were right. Both got hurt. My father died believing he'd been betrayed. And my husband died believing he'd protected what he built. She reached across the table. They're both gone, Jace. We're here. And we get to decide what happens next. Do we? His eyes met hers. Haunted. Or are we just repeating history? The Bennett man falls for the Johnson woman, everything explodes, someone gets destroyed. That's not. Isn't it? I came here for revenge. Fell for you instead. And now I'm caught between honoring my father and betraying everything I feel. He stood. Paced. What if I'm making the same mistakes he did? What if this ends the same way? It won't. You don't know that. No. But I'm choosing to believe it anyway. She stood too. Met him in the middle of his kitchen. I lost Marcus. Spent 5 years convinced I'd never feel anything again. Then you walked into my life and woke me up. And yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, it might end badly. But I'd rather feel this, feel you, than go back to being numb. His hands cupped her face. I don't deserve you. You're right. You don't. She smiled. But you're stuck with me anyway. He kissed her then. Soft. Reverent. A promise neither of them could keep but tried anyway. I love you, she whispered against his mouth. I'm terrified and confused and probably making a huge mistake, but I love you. Say it again. I love you, Jace Bennett. Again. I love you. He lifted her onto the counter, kissed her like she was oxygen, like he'd die without her. They made love right there. Desperate and laughing and clumsy, knocking over the salt shaker and not caring. After, wrapped in his arms on the couch, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Safe. Everything fell apart on a Wednesday. The board meeting was routine. Quarterly review. Budget approvals. Tamara and Jace presented their progress on the Morrison contract, ahead of schedule, under budget, exactly what the board wanted to hear. Then Gregory Walsh, the board's eldest member, cleared his throat. Before we adjourn, there's a matter we need to address. He pulled out his phone. Turned it toward them. On the screen, a photo. Tamara and Jace on his balcony. Kissing. Her blood went cold. Taken last week by a telephoto lens, Gregory continued. Anonymous source sent it to several board members, along with a rather detailed timeline of your relationship. The room erupted. Questions, accusations, shock. Tamara sat frozen. Jace's hand found hers under the table. Squeezed once. This is a clear violation of company policy, Gregory said. Fraternization between board members is strictly prohibited, especially when one party holds operational authority and the other holds financial control. Who sent this? Jace's voice was cold. Dangerous. Does it matter? The evidence is clear. It matters if someone's trying to sabotage us. Tamara forced her voice steady. The timing is awfully convenient. Right before the Morrison implementation. Right when TechFlow is finally turning around. Or, Gregory said, the timing reflects when someone finally got proof of what we'd all suspected. The two of you have been involved for months, while making critical business decisions that affect thousands of jobs and millions in shareholder value. Raymond spoke up. Their relationship hasn't interfered with work. The numbers prove that. The numbers prove they're competent. They don't prove there's no conflict of interest. Gregory stood. I'm calling for an emergency vote. Either Ms. Johnson or Mr. Bennett must step down from their positions. Effective immediately. The room exploded again. Tamara's mind raced. If she stepped down, TechFlow lost its operational leader right before the biggest implementation of the year. If Jace stepped down, they lost the funding and expertise keeping the company afloat. Either way, they'd lose. There's another option, Jace said quietly. Everyone stopped. I'll sell my shares. Remove Bennett Ventures from the equation entirely. He looked at Gregory. You keep Tamara. She's the one this company needs. I'm just money. Jace, no. It's the right call. His eyes met hers. Steady. Certain. You're not leaving this company. Not for me. Not for anyone. Neither are you. She stood. I'll step down. Tamara. This is my company. My responsibility. And I won't watch it burn because I couldn't keep my personal life separate. She looked at the board. I'll submit my resignation this afternoon. Effective in 2 weeks. Enough time to transition. No. Jace stood too. You're not sacrificing your career for me. And you're not sacrificing your investment. They glared at each other. The board watched like this was theater. Gregory interrupted. Perhaps you both should step down. Clean slate. Fresh start. Over my dead body, Raymond said. Tamara built this company from the ground up. You want to fire her over a relationship? Fine. But I go too. And I'll make sure every employee, every client, every media outlet knows exactly why. Other voices joined. Department heads. Longtime employees. A chorus of support that surprised her. Gregory's expression soured. This isn't a democracy. Actually, Raymond said, pulling out his laptop, according to company bylaws, it is. Section 7, Article 3. Board decisions affecting C-suite personnel require a 2/3 majority vote. And I count. Let's see, 6 board members willing to keep Tamara in place. That's exactly the rules. Which you wrote, Gregory, back when you thought they'd protect you. Raymond smiled. Guess karma's a bitch. The vote was called. 6-3. Tamara stayed. Gregory stormed out. 2 others followed. In the aftermath, the remaining board members filed out quietly. Tamara sat at the table, hands shaking, trying to process what just happened. Raymond squeezed her shoulder. You okay? No. But I will be. She looked up. Thank you. Thank Jace. He was ready to walk away from a $50 million investment for you. After Raymond left, only she and Jace remained. You were really going to sell? She asked. Without hesitation. He sat beside her. I told you. I love you. And love means protecting what matters most. The company matters. You matter more. The words hung between them. True and terrible. This isn't over, Tamara said. Gregory won't stop. He'll find another way to force us out. Then we'll fight him. We can't keep doing this. The secret relationship. The lies. It's tearing everything apart. So we stop lying. Jace took her hand. We tell the truth. Own it. Make them deal with it. And if they force us to choose, then we choose together. Whatever that looks like. She wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe they could have both. The career she'd built and the love she'd found. But the photo on Gregory's phone lingered in her mind. Someone had been watching them. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And she had a terrible feeling this was just the beginning. The anonymous source revealed themselves that night. Tamara was in her apartment, staring at her laptop, when an email arrived. From cwright@techflow.com. Subject. We need to talk. Cassandra Wright. Junior Marketing Executive. 27. Ambitious. Tamara called her immediately. Ms. Johnson. Cassandra's voice was cool. Professional. Thank you for reaching out. You sent those photos. I did. And I have more. Weeks of surveillance. Every dinner, every night at his apartment, every intimate moment you thought was private. Rage burned in Tamara's chest. Why? Because I deserve your job. I've worked twice as hard for half the recognition. And you're too busy sleeping with the boss to notice. Jace isn't. He's the money. Which makes him the boss. And you're the employee he's sleeping with. That's a power imbalance, Ms. Johnson. Harassment. Coercion. I could file a complaint that would end both your careers. Is this blackmail? This is negotiation. I want your position. And your silence about how I got it. Tamara's hands clenched. You want me to resign. Hand you my job. And what, pretend you didn't extort me? I prefer to think of it as strategic career advancement. You're insane. I'm ambitious. There's a difference. Cassandra's voice hardened. You have 48 hours to decide. Resign quietly, name me as your successor, and the photos disappear. Fight me and I release everything to the media. Let the court of public opinion decide if the 48-year-old widow seduced the billionaire or if he took advantage of a grieving employee. The line went dead. Tamara sat in the dark, shaking with fury. 20 minutes later, Jace arrived. She'd texted him 911. He took one look at her face and pulled her into his arms. What happened? She told him. Everything. When she finished, his expression was murderous. I'll destroy her. You can't. She's right about the optics. 48-year-old COO sleeping with 33-year-old investor. Even if it's consensual, people will assume coercion. Then we get ahead of it. Release a statement. Control the narrative. And say what? That we fell in love while saving a company? That sounds like a fairy tale, Jace. Not reality. It's our reality. But no one will believe it. She pulled away. Paced. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should resign. You keep the company, implement the changes, and I walk away. No. His voice was absolute. You're not giving up everything because of blackmail. What choice do I have? Fight. We fight. He grabbed his phone. I know people. Lawyers. PR specialists. We can bury her so deep. And prove her right. That you're using your power to silence someone threatening me. That looks even worse. I don't care how it looks. I do. The words exploded out of her. I've spent 5 years building credibility. Respect. I'm not throwing that away because I was stupid enough to fall for you. The words hung between them. Cruel. Cutting. Jace's face went blank. Is that what you think? That loving me was stupid. I think. She closed her eyes. I think we wanted this to work so badly that we ignored reality. You're the investor. I'm the executive. We have a power imbalance whether we want to admit it or not. That's bullshit and you know it. Is it? Because right now, I'm facing career destruction because of our relationship. And you're facing... what? Mild embarrassment. You think I won't suffer? I'm in love with you, Tamara. If you walk away, I lose everything that matters. The company matters. You matter more. You've always mattered more. He moved closer. Don't do this. Don't let her win. Don't let fear make you throw away what we have. What do we have, Jace? Really? A few weeks of stolen moments? Sex and secrets? That's not a relationship. It's a fantasy. It's love. Love isn't enough. Not when the cost is my career. My reputation. Everything I've worked for. His jaw tightened. So you're choosing the job. I'm choosing survival. Same thing I've been doing for 5 years. No. You're choosing fear. Running away because you're terrified of being happy. Terrified that if you let yourself love me, I'll leave like Marcus did. The words hit like a slap. Don't you dare. It's the truth. You're not pushing me away to save your career. You're pushing me away to protect your heart. Because staying numb is easier than risking this. Tears burned behind her eyes. Get out. Tamara. Get out of my apartment. Now. He stared at her. 5 seconds. 10. Then grabbed his jacket and left. The door closed. Tamara slid to the floor and finally, after 5 years, let herself cry. Friday morning. Tamara sat in her office. Resignation letter drafted. Raymond found her there at dawn. Don't do it. I have to. You don't. There's always another way. Not this time. She handed him the letter. Read it. Make sure the legal language is right. He read. Swore. This is garbage. You're letting a child with a camera dictate your life. I'm protecting what I built. You're running scared. I'm being realistic. You're being a coward. Raymond's voice softened. I knew Marcus for 20 years. He was my best friend. And he would be ashamed of you right now. She flinched. Don't. Someone has to say it. Marcus wasn't perfect. We both know that now. But he fought. For you. For this company. For what mattered. And you're giving up without a fight because some kid threatened you. It's not just her. It's the board. The optics. The power imbalance. The only power imbalance is in your head. You and Jace are equals. Always have been. He set down the letter. He loves you. And you love him. That's rare, Tam. Lightning strike rare. And you're throwing it away because you're scared. I'm not. You are. You've been scared since Marcus died. Scared to feel. Scared to love. Scared to live. He gripped her shoulders. But that man upstairs in his office? He's scared too. And he's still fighting. For you. For this company. Because he believes you're worth it. Tamara's throat tightened. I can't do this, Ray. Yes, you can. You just have to decide what you're willing to fight for. She found Jace in the conference room. Alone. Staring at the whiteboard covered in their plans. Came to deliver the resignation in person? His voice was flat. Emotionless. Came to apologize. She closed the door. You were right. About all of it. I'm terrified. Of losing you. Of being happy and having it ripped away. Of choosing wrong and destroying everything. He didn't turn around. And I'm still terrified. But I'm done running. She moved closer. I love you. That's real. This is real. And I'm not letting some junior executive with a grudge destroy it. Now he turned. His eyes were red. Exhausted. What changed? Raymond. He reminded me that I didn't survive the last 5 years just to give up now. That I'm stronger than fear. She took his hand. I don't know how to make this work. The company. Us. All of it. But I want to try. Tamara. I'm not resigning. I'm not walking away. And I'm not hiding anymore. She pulled out her phone. Typed quickly. Hit send. There. Press release. Announcing our relationship. Framing it as a partnership. Professional and personal. Let them make of it what they will. His eyes widened. You just blew up my career. Probably. But if I'm going down, I'm going down fighting. She smiled. Think you can handle the fallout? I can handle anything. As long as I don't have to handle it alone. He kissed her. Deep. Desperate. A promise that neither of them was running anymore. When they broke apart, her phone was exploding. Calls. Texts. Emails. The first was from Keisha. About damn time. The second was from the board. Emergency meeting. Monday. 9 a.m. The third was from Morrison Tech CEO. Saw the press release. Congratulations. See you next week for implementation. Relief flooded through her. Morrison was staying. That's what mattered. Jace's phone rang. He answered. Bennett. His expression shifted. Hardened. When? I see. No, I'll handle it. He hung up. Looked at her. That was my lawyer. Cassandra Wright filed a hostile work environment complaint this morning. Claims I've been coercing you for months. Tamara's stomach dropped. She's moving faster than I thought. There's more. She has a lawyer. Someone good. And they're threatening a public lawsuit unless we both resign and pay a settlement. How much? $5 million. That's extortion. That's leverage. He paced. If we fight, it goes public. Months of litigation. Media circus. Techflow's reputation destroyed. And if we pay, she wins. And every other opportunist learns that blackmail works. They stood in silence, the weight of the decision crushing. Then Tamara smiled. Or we do something she doesn't expect. Like what? We invite her to the meeting Monday, in front of the board, and we ask her to explain exactly how I coerced you. She pulled out her phone again. Because I have something she doesn't know about. What? Security footage. From your building. Your apartment complex. Time-stamped. Every time I entered, every time I left. And guess what? I came willingly. Every single time. Jace's eyes lit up. You have proof. I have proof of consensual relationship between equals. No coercion. No harassment. Just two adults choosing each other. She grinned. And I'm willing to bet her lawyer doesn't know that. You're brilliant. I know. It's one of my best qualities. He laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised and genuine. Marry me. The room went silent. Tamara stared. What? Marry me. Not now. Not today. But someday. When this is over and we've proven everyone wrong and we're standing in the rubble of everything we fought for. He pulled her close. Marry me because you're the smartest, strongest, most infuriating woman I've ever met. Because you make me want to be better. Because I love you and I don't want to spend another day pretending I don't. Tears blurred her vision. That's the worst proposal I've ever heard. Is that a no? That's a ask me again when you're not in crisis mode. She kissed him. But I'm not opposed to the idea. I'll take it. Monday's board meeting was explosive. Cassandra arrived with her lawyer, sharp-suited, smug, ready for battle. Gregory Walsh looked vindicated. Ms. Wright has brought serious allegations. That are completely false, Tamara interrupted. And provably so. She pulled out her laptop. Showed the security footage. Time-stamped entries and exits. Text messages. Hers and Jace's. Clearly consensual. Calendar entries showing their relationship developed over months, not days. You're claiming coercion, she said to Cassandra. But the evidence shows two adults in a consensual relationship, which means your lawsuit is baseless. Cassandra's face went white. Her lawyer leaned over. Whispered. However, Jace added, we are willing to settle. Everyone went silent. Not for money, he clarified. For truth. Cassandra, you resign. Effective immediately. Sign an NDA. And in exchange, we won't pursue legal action for extortion and blackmail. You can't prove. We can. Tamara pulled out her phone. Recorded phone call. From when you threatened me. Georgia's a one-party consent state, which means I can record without your knowledge. And I did. She played 30 seconds. Cassandra's voice crystal clear. Resign quietly, and the photos disappear. Fight me and I release everything. The lawyer stood. We're done here. They left. Gregory tried to salvage it. This doesn't change the fraternization policy. Actually, Raymond said, it does. Because I've been doing some research. That policy was never formally voted on. Marcus implemented it unilaterally, which means it's not binding. Gregory's face went purple. Motion to repeal the fraternization policy, Raymond continued, replacing it with disclosure requirements. Relationships must be reported to HR. Power dynamics must be monitored. But consenting adults can date without fear of termination. The vote was called. 7-2. The policy was repealed. When the meeting ended, Tamara and Jace walked out together. No hiding. No secrets. In the hallway, employees stared. Some smiled. Some whispered. Tamara didn't care. For the first time in 5 years she felt free. That night, they went to Keisha's house for dinner. The whole family was there. Keisha, David, the kids, Tamara's mother. Diane took one look at Jace and pulled him into a hug. "So you're the man who woke up my daughter?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm trying." "You better do more than try." But she was smiling. Keisha cornered Tamara in the kitchen. "He's cute. Young. Rich. Please tell me you're keeping him." "I'm keeping him. Thank God. I was worried you'd self-sabotage." "I tried. He wouldn't let me." "Good man." Keisha squeezed her hand. "You look happy. Really happy. I haven't seen that in 5 years." "I am happy. Terrified. Confused. But happy. That's love, honey. Messy and complicated and absolutely worth it." Dinner was chaos. Jace fit in easily. Teased the kids, complimented the food, asked David about teaching. Her mother grilled him about his intentions, his family, his relationship with God. He answered honestly. Every question. After dinner, Tamara found him on the back porch. Alone. Staring at the stars. "You okay?" she asked. "Your family is loud." "Too loud." "Perfect." He pulled her close. "My family was always quiet. After my father lost everything, we just existed. No joy. No laughter. I forgot what family was supposed to feel like." "They like you. Even my mother. That's rare. I like them too." He kissed her temple. "Thank you." "For what?" "For fighting. For choosing this. For not giving up on us. Thank you for not letting me run." They stood in comfortable silence. The kind that only came when two people finally stopped fighting themselves. "Ask me again," she said quietly. "Ask you what?" "What you asked me Friday. In the conference room." Jace pulled back. Looked at her. Understanding dawning. He dropped to one knee. Tamara's breath caught. "Tamara Johnson. You're brilliant, impossible, stronger than anyone I've ever met. You scare me and challenge me and make me want to be better than I am. I love you. Not in spite of your walls or your pain or your stubbornness, because of them. Because you're real. And you make me feel real too." He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, a single diamond that caught the porch light. "I don't have this all figured out. I don't know how to balance love and business and all the complications we're going to face. But I want to figure it out with you. So, will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her face. "Yes. Yes. Yes, you impossible man. Yes." He slid the ring on her finger. Stood. Kissed her like she was oxygen. Behind them, the porch door opened. Keisha screamed. Did he just? The whole family poured out. Hugs. Congratulations. Diane crying. David shaking Jace's hand. The kids asking if this meant they'd get a pool. In the chaos, Tamara caught Jace's eyes. Mouthed, "I love you." He mouthed back, "I know." And for the first time in 5 years, Tamara Johnson wasn't just surviving. She was living. 1 year later. The wedding was small. Intimate. Just family and close friends in Keisha's backyard. Decorated with white flowers and fairy lights. Tamara wore cream, elegant, simple, nothing like the elaborate gown from her first wedding. This felt different. Lighter. Like beginning instead of performance. Jace wore a suit. Smiled like he couldn't believe his luck. Raymond officiated. Got ordained online specifically for this. "We're gathered here," he began, "to witness two impossible people do something impossible. Fall in love despite logic, despite history, despite every reason to run." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Tamara and Jace didn't have an easy road. They fought. They doubted. They almost destroyed everything trying to protect themselves. But they chose each other anyway. Chose love over fear. Chose partnership over pride. He looked at them. That's what marriage is. Choosing each other. Every day. Even when it's hard. The vows were simple. Honest. Promises they could actually keep. When Raymond said, "You may kiss," Jace pulled her close and whispered, "You made me alive again." "You too." The reception was loud. Dancing. Laughter. Keisha's kids running circles. Diane crying happy tears. At midnight, they snuck away to Jace's car. Their car now, since she'd moved into his place 3 months ago. Where are we going? Tamara asked. Somewhere quiet. Just us. He drove to the TechFlow parking lot. Empty at this hour. They took the elevator to the top floor. Her office, dark and silent. Through the windows, the city sparkled. Remember the first time we were alone in this building? Jace asked. You told me I was drowning. You told me I was the mess. We were both right. He pulled her close. Swayed to music only they could hear. We did it. Saved the company. Survived the scandal. Got married. We're kind of amazing. You're amazing. I'm just stubborn. She laughed. Kissed him. Soft. Sweet. Forever promised in that kiss. I love you, she whispered. I love you too. And in that office where it all began, where a broken woman met an angry man and they clashed and fought and finally chose each other, they danced. 2 impossible people. 1 impossible love. And a future that was just beginning. What would you rate this story? Drop 0 to 10 in the comments right now. If this story moved you, hit subscribe for more emotional journeys every week. And if it truly touched your heart, consider leaving a super thanks. Your support helps us create more stories like this. Every contribution, big or small, means the world. Ready for the next story? It's even more dramatic than this one. Click now. Thank you for being part of this journey.